allowing us to gather here today and help others that are still coming to give this safety. Pray, Lord, for safety on the roads here in Fayette County as the weather turned out. And Lord, we pray also, Father, that you help us to remember what this season is all about. It says in Luke 2:10 that the angel said, do not be afraid. For behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which will be to all people. For there is born to you this day in the city of David, and Savior, Jesus Christ the Lord. Lord, I pray that you bless each one this year. Lord, if there's someone in need, I pray that you can reach out to them and show them that love that you showed us over 2,000 years ago through your Son, Jesus Christ. In Jesus Christ's name, amen.
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone. You all know 2 out of 3, I guess, ain't bad. Commissioner Ambrosini is out ill today. The first item, and it's just a small presentation. We utilized Marcellus Shale legacy monies to distribute to some organizations, and I know we all had agreed that no question a very worthy organization as it protects our waterways and our tributaries is Trout Unlimited, and we wanted to take the time to offer this check for $15,000.
I knew you were going to come and speak. I didn't know you were going to offer a check.
Well,
I mean, I know we approved it,
yeah.
but I mean, if you want us to come up, okay, that's fine.
And Jim Tobel was working on this before. And
right. I'm actually representing Jim. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Just for somebody want to say something? Yeah.
You want to say something, please?
Well, I'd just like to thank the commissioners for this appropriation from the Act 13 money, which the law was written to provide for these kinds of gestures. Our local organization is, it's actually the Chestnut Ridge chapter of Trout Unlimited, which is a national organization. Ours is the local affiliate. And we've been working for 20 years in the county, raising our own money locally and applying for grants from Growing Greener and other public sources to restore degraded watersheds in Fayette County. This will be a huge help toward that. And we think that it improves not only the environment, but the economy of the county, and it will make Fayette County an even better place for people to come and visit. Thank you.
And we hope to be able to continue.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just so other recipients, I think a lot of people know that I'm not going to like to have a check presentation because the money, I mean, it's for those purposes. So I certainly don't want any other recipient to feel compelled that they have to come to our commissioners meeting to get our checks, because we issue those as they're signed off by the 3 commissioners or 2 commissioners. So by all means, if anyone wants to come and make a statement, that's fine. But it's not necessary that you do so. So thank you for your kind words.
Is there any public comment on agenda items? Yes, Mrs. Miller.
Under commissioners, consider approval to advertise for RFQ for Fayette County solicitor positions. Now, does that mean there'll be more than one commissioner, or you can get more than one solicitor? You can get rid of the solicitors we already have and hire all new ones? What does that mean?
Mrs. Mazza, I did not put this item on the agenda, but based on last month's conference, I'm just giving you my opinion. I would like to solicit for an RFQ for solicitors in general, and then a determination. I will say that we have a very good solicitor in Mr. Cupp, and I hope that his services will continue with the county. That's just my opinion, but I would like to solicit for qualifications for solicitors plural. We currently have 3. Whether we need to maintain 3 or not, that's a decision that this board will make. But I do think we need to get some qualifications from other individuals and go from there. And I thought that was the consensus last month when I think Mr. Mazza had brought the question up to Commissioner Ambrosini. So that's the reason why I supported the item on the agenda.
Well, I was just curious why it was pulled. And speaking of solicitors, is the report ready? Supposed to be ready today.
Mr. Mazza, I can't answer the question, ma'am. I apologize.
And the author of the report is absent. Well, you promised the report today. You didn't get a copy of the report from
No,
Mr.
ma'am,
President.
I've not gotten it.
Mrs. Zimmerman?
Did you get a copy of the report? I have not gotten it.
To respond to your first question, at the agenda meeting, I too asked if this was an RFQ for plural solicitors, and the statement was that's what was printed. That's what I was asking because there are times that sometimes there's an error made on the agenda. Commissioner Zabikoff, he did say when he said here that he thought that it was the consensus. I disagree because the only public statement that was made regarding an RFQ and the status was at the last meeting, and Mr. Mazza did bring that up, but it was never stated that we would do an RFQ for solicitor or solicitors. Quite frankly, as you know, then now to go to the second part, because they're both obviously related to one another. As you know, one of the tasks that was in the agreement signed by to the commissioners with interim county solicitor Ken Berkeley was to prepare a report and to provide his suggestions for, and I'm paraphrasing, like reorganization of the office. That agreement was entered into in June of 2012. Today is December 16th, 2013. If Ken Berkeley was here, I would be telling this to him as well. $4,000 a month for those periods of time. There's in my calculation about $63,000. And no, we don't have a report. And at the last commissioner meeting, I did say that we would report is needed because, well, if that was one of his tasks, then it's needed. I don't think it's report to make a determination of how to run our county solicitor's office, but if that's what was done, and what it was, and he's paid to do it, our statement to him was, as you know, and it's on record, and that is to provide that information before the budget process. Okay? Having it done afterwards makes no sense. And, okay?
And I think there was 2 aspects to his report. It was not just reorganization. I think there was also the task of looking at litigation avoidance. If my memory serves me correctly, I think that was a second aspect of his report as well. But as I said, I've not seen any report as of.
Not at all.
Doesn't make any difference what's supposed to be in it. If there's no report, there's no report. And I tell you, in the private sector, it'd have been long gone if it takes that long to do a report. And then he says it's almost done. It'll be here next commissioner's meeting, and he don't show up, and there's no report. I have one other thing.
Yes, ma'am.
About this lease for Iowa Street. It says to approve the lease. What's in the lease?
Mr. Mazza, I received a copy of that information just yesterday. I believe you did as well, Commissioner?
Yes, yesterday at the county,
And
at the
so-
budget meeting, Commissioner Ambrosini handed us both a copy of the letter from
It was
Steve
a
Mugdal.
3-page document. It was in bullets, basically items 1 through 20, if you will. So,
Outlining his proposal.
yeah.
Well, don't you think the public ought to know what's in the lease before you sign it?
Ma'am, we haven't signed any lease yet.
Well, not only the public would need to know what's in the lease, but also I would think the commissioners would want to know
Yeah.
before. And at the Tuesday agenda meeting, it was placed on the agenda to approve the lease, and the statement that I made was, you can't approve it if you don't have it and you haven't negotiated. And the response from Commissioner Ambrosini was, well, let's put it on the agenda. It can be tabled if the information is not available. But as of last week, Tuesday, when it was placed on the agenda for formal approval today, there was no date since I spoke to you, just, the letter was handed to us yesterday.
I don't understand how Mr. Ambrosini is trying to run this county. Seems like he's doing everything, backwards. Because you're doing things, just for instance, the story in the paper today, all these sites. He wants a contract with the architect and all that, don't even have a site yet. The site should have been the first thing that was finalized before you do anything else. And everything with this prison system is all backward. I don't know what the big rush is, I don't know what's being covered up, nothing is getting out to the public. You held so-called public meetings that were nothing but a bunch of baloney thrown at the people, and it's too bad Mr. Ambrosini isn't here. Maybe he got sick on purpose because he knew there was going to be flack today. This is just ridiculous the way this county's going. You're going to bankrupt this county, and everything is done half-baked, wrong way around. Things that should be done first are being left to be done. Who knows if they'll ever get done? And it's just, I don't know what to say. I'm at a loss to know how you people are running this county. I'm really at a loss to know what the sequence of events is and all that. It's just, you're unnerving the whole county. It's just disgusting.
Is there any additional yes, sir.
You have a minute?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
This is Mazda, just as a comment. I agree. I'm not happy with the status of and the result of the
Morning.
Morning.
John Cauction, Fayette County resident. Got my 3x5 government-approved little question sheet here. The $32 million bond issue, will that be the total bricks and mortar cost of this project, inclusive from the infrastructure to the top of the concertina barbed wire? Is that the total cost?
They are estimating that the cost of, you're referring to the cost of the prison project, sir?
I'm talking about the $32 million bond issue that you're entertaining floating.
The cost of the estimated cost of the prison ranges from 27 to the $32 million
That's a
range.
pretty big range.
That's according to the study completed by
Mr.
Crabtree.
Right, but is it not your intention to float a $32 million bond?
So I've not voted on any bonds.
No, I'm asking about your intention, not your vote.
I've not expressed my intention or my vote at this time, sir.
Now's your opportunity. How much are we gonna spend?
So I can't answer the question. We've not picked, there's not been a site location. There are variables that I can't speak for.
Okay, let me ask you this. Can you put a number on debt service and principal of the $32 million bond annual cost? Can you put a number on that?
The controller had